It's me, Sean Capri. I'm in my car, and you're listening to the Nintendo Drive. I'm on a Skype call with my friend Console Caito, the spiciest potato, and on our journey today, I played WarioWare, and it's one of my favorite games I've ever played, so let's jump on into the Nintendo Drive. Ball! Here we go!
Hi, Sean.
Caito, I am so excited to talk to you about WarioWare. There's nothing happening in the news, so we're going to look back a year in the past. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm glad you're excited about it.
I am. It's happening.
Glad.
All the games are happening. All of a sudden, they're all coming out, Caito. I'm broke.
And it wasn't a flop for you this time.
This time, not yet.
That's some good news. Yeah, I mean, it's at least... How long did you stream it last night?
Like not even 2 hours.
2 hours, something
Yeah.
like that. So you at least got 2 hours of fun out of it.
Totally worth it. Totally worth it. And yeah, I just got to enjoy WarioWare with a bunch of friends, hanging out on stream, twitch.tv/Sean Capri. And I am looking forward to, I mean, we can just jump on into it, and I'll sure we can clean out the garage in a moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just... I don't know. This is, if anybody has ever been wondering what kind of like my ideal apparently sense of humor, it's WarioWare. It's this stupid toilet humor, just surprise, what in the world, what drugs are these people on when they make this completely random ADD, ADHD kind of driven humor. I am all about it. It's full of surprises, and I was like, my head hurt by the end because I was just smiling and laughing so hard. It was actually kind of exhausting.
How did it feel streaming it? Like, do you think you would prefer it off stream?
I would have preferred, because I've played other WarioWare games, I definitely would have loved to have somebody right beside me, like passing the controller back and forth, because it adds to how frantic it is of, okay, you've got like 3 seconds to do this thing, and then you throw the controller to the other person, like, okay, now you go, and they've got to kind of quickly do all that. So, yeah, it's definitely... It's a game that leans into like a couch co-op kind of experience, but this streaming, this is one of the reasons why I like to stream so much, is because it's as close to that as you could possibly get. It's like having, a couple, maybe a dozen, at least for me, like a dozen people or so, in your room with you, enjoying the thing, playing with you. I just wasn't able to hand it over to anybody else, but I felt like we just had a group of people all like laughing at this thing. Some people at Fuya, at Foolish Fuji, she rated the stream, and so everybody kind of knew what was coming up, and there was a shared experience there as well. So I think as a streaming game, it was super, super fun, probably more so than if I was just playing by myself. So my thoughts, my impressions right now are from that. The entirety of me playing this was on stream with a bunch of friends all kind of like weighing in the comments as well.
Yeah. Well, now I'm like, oh my gosh, am I missing out? Do I need to buy it and stream it? I don't know.
It depends on like I don't know, like I found it hilarious. So I think maybe part of the enjoyment for the audience was me laughing my ass off at some of these games, and like you're plugging noses, you're tweezing the armpit hair, you're doing all those things, and it is just outrageous. And the like whenever you do something well, they'll give you some sort of like success screen, and sometimes it's just so stupid, like this cartoon drawing. It kind of reminds me of like Ren and Stimpy a little bit, because it's just so crude and so ridiculous, and in some cases not beautiful art at all. It's just raunchy is kind of the best way to say it. And yeah, if that's kind of your thing, then you'll enjoy it in front of your audience as a streamer.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you streamed it. So I'm glad that you stream all these games, so I don't have to buy them if I don't want to.
Influencer.
I save so much money. I save so much money by watching Sean stream.
Yeah, you can make your decision, or just kind of experience vicariously through me.
Right. Yeah, because there are some things that I just wouldn't play. Mm-hmm. And so I like to watch those games too.
I will say that
someone else playing them.
This is exactly what I wanted out of it, right? So a lot of my excitement and elation about this game has a lot to do with what I was expecting. I say like it's my favorite game of the year. Like we have to just know what this is. It's 200, micro games, not even like mini games, really, really tiny little experiences that you can play. I was surprised actually that there was a difference what I experienced yesterday versus what I was expecting in terms of the demo just kind of threw you at a trial, like try and get through as many of these micro games as possible. And what I was doing yesterday on stream was a bit of a, they called it a story, which is a stretch. There's Wario and his friends apparently have made a game and the game breaks. So they're all trapped inside of the game and you kind of wander around to the various areas, which are, 10 to 15 micro games. And every character's level is broken. And so they go to this, dancing dude with a big afro and his mustache is a music note. And his level's broken. And this other character, little 9-volt thing that shoots up in the air, his level is broken. Everybody's level is broken. And they all have like a weird little dialogue, which discovers my level's broken. I guess I got to play these weird micro games. I think is how it all goes. You get a short little animation, which is hilarious, but really adds nothing to, it's not going to challenge anybody's brain about like story comprehension. It's just a means to the end to show you some hilarious animations and scenarios. And then to unlock, really the point of the story sort of mode is to unlock more and more characters who each have a very basic, very easy to understand and simple control scheme. Some of them will fly around. Some of them will beam. One guy's got like a tractor beam underneath him. Somebody else just punches ahead of him. Another guy has like compact discs. Some people might remember compact discs. He just throws those around. He doesn't move at all and just shoots those all over the place. So everybody's got a bit of a gimmick, a very simple control scheme to then go through all these micro games of pluck this nose or plug this nose or go do this or go do that. There's one area, Caito, while I'm rambling here, I'm wondering if I should spoil or not, or at least give like a fair spoiler warning, which sounds hilarious to say. There might be a spoiler in WarioWare, but I feel like my moment of discovering this section of the game was just like, it was the best. So maybe like, are you okay if I talk about this?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm about to talk about?
Skip ahead. No.
Okay, so yeah, maybe 30 seconds, skip ahead. If you don't want to know anything, but there is one area, every character has a theme to their micro game. So you'll play between 10 and 15 micro games and then hit a boss. When you beat the boss, you unlock that character. One of the characters, the theme to all their micro games are other video games. This character is obsessed with video games. And so every micro game is like set in Splatoon or Super Mario Land or Super Mario World, or one was a Donkey Kong Country thing. Like, it just kind of came out of nowhere. It really surprised me because everything else before that was really just random. They didn't really seem to have anything going on. And then all of a sudden it's like there's like a giant block and Link from Breath of the Wild is there and you smack that a whole bunch of times and then it flies away, like whatever that power is called in Breath of the Wild. Like, it melted my entire heart, and you can see it on stream. I just was so in love with it, mainly because the music is all there. The Super Mario Land music, the original like Game Boy music was there.
Oh, that's cool.
The Donkey Kong Country music, like it was so perfectly curated. And that was definitely my favorite part of my experience last time. Like, just give me a whole game of these little micro games that give me like 3.5 seconds of all the games from the history of Nintendo. It was such a cool tribute, and I was not expecting that at all.
Did you get to play the Animal Crossing one?
I don't think I did an Animal Crossing one, actually.
Oh,
it all happened so fast.
Yeah. I wonder if each time you play, you get different games, or if everyone plays the exact same games.
Yeah, for the story mode, that's a good question. Because it seems like it might be randomized too. You can select between three or four characters who will then rotate through every mini game or micro game, or you can just like automatically select it, just take characters at random, and that changes how each of these kind of micro game objectives play out because they all control a little bit differently. Like, they even have like a Pikmin one where you got to like save these Pikmin. You gotta hit the little flower and then they kind of harvest the thing.
Cute.
So I hope that there's more to it than even just that, because it was just so well done, and I am over the moon with all I wanted was a bunch of wacky, crazy, hilarious little micro games, and WarioWare delivered. I have zero regrets on how expensive this game was. And yeah, it's going to be, for me, this is something that when Christmas comes around and family comes over, hopefully we're allowed to do that. This is going to be one of the first things that I pop in to play with my brothers. And as the kids get a little bit older and capable of handling that, the intensity and how quick you have to be, I can't wait to experience this game with all them too. It's meant to be shared, really. It's not really, if you're looking for like a solo experience, you can still get some from that. I think you'll have a good laugh by yourself, but I do think that this is something that is meant to be shared with other people.
Yeah. Well, what
How's
a
that?
rave review about WarioWare.
What else was I ended up buying Sonic Colors. I'll talk about it on the Xbox Drive because I played it on Xbox because I just saw it was a bit of a nightmare on Switch. So I avoided that.
Was that ever confirmed?
I think some of it was. I don't know. I think some of it was confirmed not to be happening on Switch, but yeah, it's not good. And one of the other things too is that the loading times for Sonic Colors on Switch are longer than they were on the Wii, where it was loading off of like an optical disc. It's like how is that even possible? So not really optimized all that well.
Okay. So if you want to hear about Sonic Colors, make sure you're subscribed to the Xbox Drive, or we can go straight into cleaning out the garage here.
Nice.
You can subscribe to youtube.com/YumiCapri and get access to all of the shows that Sean does, Ryan Turford does, everybody does, all the shows. Subscribe over on YouTube. You can also find the Nintendo Drive on Twitter and Instagram at YumiCapris. So make sure you're following us over there. We do have a YouTube comment this week from V, who says, "Hey guys, loved hearing what you're going or not going to play in the next couple of weeks, months. I obviously will still play Animal Crossing. I'm about to finish my summer island and can't wait to start a fall island."
Nice.
I'm ready to be done with my fall island.
Yeah, I saw that. What's going on?
It's just, I think I said this in a video. I don't know if I think I underestimated or I overestimated, one of those. I don't know which is the right word to use, how long it was going to take me to finish the island. And I'm finishing it faster than I anticipated.
Sure.
So I just started it too soon.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, it's not even fall, and I'm almost done with this fall island, and that's fine because I also have my Halloween island that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I mean, that one is a little more like there's a hard deadline. Like I have to get it done in October.
Yeah.
Or
makes
it's not
sense.
relevant, you know? Trying to finish that one. So I just set myself a deadline. I was like, I'm going to be done with this fall island by Friday.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to be done and we're going to move on. I'm going to do another island and that'll be that. You know,
So,
I don't know.
You've talked about quality of life stuff, though, like things that might make things a little bit faster. Like, do you still, given that you're finishing these things as quickly as you are, do you still want some of those things, mainly just to make it less painful? Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, the one that I would want more than anything, and it's so hard to just pick one thing because there are so many things that I would want.
Right.
But the ability to reset your island, but keep your catalog of items. And, I mean, that's really it. Like keeping your catalog, keeping your DIYs. Yeah, you just sell your current island and then you move on to a new island or however they wanted to do it. They did something similar in New Leaf where you could start over, but you would have all of your previous stuff.
Yeah.
That would be game changing.
Can you imagine like selling it to other people? Like, could you imagine selling it?
Cool.
And somebody else just buys them. They like to have that island, or maybe they have like their own like area of the South Pacific, and it's all just all these islands. Kind of just it's a little more meta, but yeah,
that would be cool. I think along with that, they would have to have some way, which I don't even know why this doesn't exist. They need to have a way, whether it's a Nook Miles redemption or bells or whatever they want to do, to change your island name and to change your resident rep name. Mm-hmm. There's so many reasons that's needed.
Yep.
And it's mind-boggling that you can't do that.
Mine is Capricorn.
Capricorn.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know how to pronounce my own island name, but it was inspired by you. So
yeah, thanks. things. Yeah. So yeah, I obviously would want that to happen. I don't know if it ever will. I don't know. Who knows if we'll ever get an update? Speaking of updates,
Yeah, take it.
last week, do you remember we talked about the potential for a direct?
It's September
what
Direct.
are those things called where they talk about the games? Yeah, how do you feel about the fact that there's not one announced yet?
I almost screamed about it in the intro. Still not another direct. We will be getting to sort of a rear view mirror segment. Last we talked about what would it be like if we just kind of looked at the news that was happening this time last year. And the reason we talked about it is because this time last year we were getting a direct, and we still don't have a direct right now.
Right.
I feel like Nintendo just continues to play us. They are laughing. They are a spiteful and vengeful video game god that loves to just see us squeam and squirm and wonder and talk about it. It does them so much good to have us just go, we want this thing, rather than for us just to get what we ask for all the time. We kind of get a little bit of, I don't know, we get smacked around a little bit by Nintendo. I don't know what this means for the future, though. I don't know if it definitely means we're not going to get one, or if they're really just they're just watching us. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Like, I'm not surprised. I think we both called it that there probably won't be, and it'll be October 1st, just so technically they can say, not every September you get one.
Yeah, I just think I was waiting. This morning, I was checking Twitter. And
Me too.
Like, today's going to be the day they announce it. I guess there's just always that chance of next week they announce it and then it's the following week or something. I don't know. I don't think it's happening.
I think we have to stick to our guns on this. We kind of have to, we can't waffle. We can't say like, maybe it'll happen.
Yeah.
And then when it does happen, say like, see, we were open to it. It's like, that's not.
So right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think let's just do it. I'm going to adopt the Caito perspective on this and just go, it ain't happening. Give up all hope. Because then when we do that, I feel like that's what they're looking for. Nintendo's looking for us to give up hope. So let's all do this collectively, everybody. We'll all give up hope, and that's when they'll surprise us, and we'll be like, "Oh, wow, we were so wrong." But really, we're really happy that now
no
we get a
one
direct.
tweet about it unless you're tweeting that you've given up hope.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay? No more tweeting
Tweet
how there's going to be
specifically.
one.
We don't even need a Nintendo Direct. I'm just going to play PlayStation. Let's do a little, we don't need Nintendo as much as Nintendo thinks we need them,
And if you want to hashtag the Nintendo Drive or at Yumi Capri's on your tweet, maybe Nintendo will notice us.
Yeah, that would be great.
So just do
Wouldn't
that.
it be amazing if you and I actually knew and we're just part of the game the whole time? Like we actually know that there is or isn't one, and we're gonna promote this propaganda. I like it. Now people don't know what to think.
Yeah. I mean, we could know.
We don't know who to trust.
Yeah.
Maybe we do know. Maybe we don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. You don't know.
All right. We got some breaking news.
That's
Tetris 99's next crossover theme is WarioWare Get It Together.
Perfect. It's
I'm not
perfect.
shocked by this, and I know you're going to be just
I'm all
obsessing
over
over it. It's on September 17th, so if you're interested in getting the WarioWare theme for Tetris 99, make sure you play or do whatever you have to do to get the theme. We know Sean's going to have it in the first 20 minutes.
Oh my God. Probably, 25 minutes maybe. I think it actually probably closer to an hour. One thing I will say that I'm excited about this is the music with every sort of like stage. Is when you first start your game, it's going to be pretty chill. And then when there's 50 people left out of the 100, then the music amps up a little bit more. And then the last 10 people, it gets really crazy. And that's kind of like one of the hallmarks of WarioWare is just how the music just keeps going like more and more and more. And your heart rate keeps getting higher and higher and higher. So very excited about that. Now that I'm talking about it, I kind of wish there was a Tetris micro game in WarioWare. Kind of do the reverse. I'd like a little like put the Tetramino in the spot. Kind of just like that's the only thing that you got to do in a WarioWare game. That'd be fun.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
Aww.
This is great. Give me more of this, Tetris 99. An amazing exclusive for the Nintendo Switch.
Okay, so definitely a light news week this week. Our other story is Nintendo significantly, well, I'm not even going to talk about the word significantly, but
They reduced?
Nintendo
somewhat.
reduced the Switch price in Europe. You can now pick one up for 260, is this euros? Instead of the previous 280.
They just did it in Europe.
In America, the Switch sells for $299 US. So could this mean a price drop to $279? And
Well,
I'm
at
sorry, but
McDonald's,
that
they did
is
a price
not
increase for
significant.
drinks, Caito. They did a price
No
increase.
more
This is going
$1?
to cost more. Hi there. Can I please get 2 large Diet Cokes? That's all. Thank you. Can you believe when do you ever get a price increase? Don't appreciate it.
All the time.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Gas, gasoline,
Yeah.
milk.
All the time.
Yeah. Inflation, just generally.
I have an issue with this word significantly.
Where is this from? Is this Nintendo Life, I think?
This is Engadget.
Oh, okay. You can't trust them.
Engadget.
Yes, please.
Significantly. I mean, it almost makes you want to Google the definition of
Thank you, you too.
significant.
Yeah, what is it, 20 euros? I mean, is it just
Right.
within the realm of Nintendo land this is significant?
I mean, the definition is in a sufficiently great
really
or
did.
important way as to be worthy of attention. So you could run with that however
Yeah.
you want to run with that. But whenever I think of significant, I mean, I would say $50 US, a drop in price would be a significant drop.
Well, we're talking about it now, like whether or not it said the word significantly or not, it would have been an item for us to chat about, I think.
Yeah, of course.
Better.
What do you think? Do you think they're going to do this
thank
everywhere? Or do you think?
Well, I think yes. I actually don't know how. Well, let me think about this for a second. I think that the conversion never really makes much sense.
Right.
It always seems like the number of euros or pounds is way too close to the U.S. dollar.
Oh, is it pounds? You're right.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
don't know the difference.
I think there might have been both. I can't remember what I left on the page, but does it look like an L? That's pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
L is pounds.
I guess, or a capital E. I can't tell.
Yeah, and those are euros. We'll never know. Check the show notes, everybody. Anyway, the point is that, whether the number was, if it's 299 pounds or euros, then it really shouldn't be 299 US dollars because like the euro or pound is worth way more. Do you know what I mean? Right.
Yeah.
So maybe this is actually just an exchange rate adjustment where, and we've actually seen this in Canada. I think one of the first times I remember it was on the PS4 in one of the rare cases that for Canadians, if you waited to buy PlayStation 4, you paid more because they increased the price because our dollar just took it just dove. It was just absolutely tanked. So this could be localized to Europe because maybe it's just an adjustment on the exchange rate. Not to kill everybody's hopes and dreams. That could be the case. And it just seems weird to me that it wouldn't be like across the board.
All at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Because actually, at first I was going to start the conversation going, yeah, it's coming to America. But then I'm like, wait a second. There's an exchange thing here. Maybe that's all it is.
And $20 seems like a weird drop in price.
Yeah. But
Although,
they did.
Okay, we're going to jump into, we have a question about this from
Okay.
Todd Oxtra. At Talkstra on Twitter. With a rumored price cut on the OG Switch on the way, does the OLED at $350 seem like a big miss?
Yeah.
Sure, the screen is better, but was the screen quality anyone's main complaint with the Switch?
Yeah. That's a good point. And that's one of the things that I think is missing from this article really is, does this also mean that the OLED in Europe is going to be less? And then, to Todd's point, what does it mean for America? What do you think?
Well, first of all, Todd, you know how I feel about rumors going around, but
Yeah, Todd.
Todd. Gosh. I mean, I don't think $350 is a big miss.
Yeah.
No. Whether people wanted it or not, they have to offset the cost of putting the OLED screen in there. And I don't know how much that costs, but they do have to offset some cost there. Why didn't they just add something else to the OLED instead of just that? Anything.
Bluetooth would be nice.
Bluetooth. Come on.
Yeah.
Any of the things you could have added. and it was just the screen. I mean, but I can't say anything because I'm getting one. I don't know. I don't think it's a big miss. I don't think they're going to drop the price here.
Of the OLED? Or in the US?
Any
Yeah,
of
just
it.
any of it. Yeah, yeah.
Because
I
if
think
they
you're right.
do, then it's like there's such a... They've created this ecosystem's not the right word, but they've got the Switch Lite, they've got the Switch, they've got the OLED coming out. If you change one of them, you have to change everything else, or it just doesn't fit anymore.
Well, and that's actually what breaks my theory about the exchange rate. Again, like I'm not terribly surprised that they wouldn't have mentioned the OLED. It's not out yet, but the Switch Lite is out. So why not the adjustment there? It's not like Nintendo really like pass along the savings to you. They would just they're just selling them. So why wouldn't they just take it? This is a bit of a pickle. This is an interesting thing to unravel because there's so many inconsistencies. As soon as you establish, well, this is what it could be, it's like, well, that logic is broken by the OLED or the Switch Lite. Like, what the heck?
Right.
So I guess
honestly always forget that it's a $300 console instead of a $200 console.
That's that $299 magic.
That
like that's the $99. Or $199 for the Switch Lite.
Is $199.
How is that not selling more? Like this is, and maybe back to the point of Todd's question. Like I don't think that customers do this as much as people might think, where they look at two options side by side and go, well, this one is $50 more, so I will get this. I think they just look at the thing that they want and rationalize whether or not they're going to buy it or not. I don't think they do the stepping stone going from one to the other, rationalizing it from, it's got this, so I'll pay $50 more for this, or it's lacking this, that, and the other, so it's not worth $75 more. Like, I don't think that's a thing. I don't know. It's a little bit more complicated than all that.
Unless you're knowledgeable about all of the different options. Yeah. Or unless you're, I think at GameStop or somewhere like that, they're probably educating people on, well, this is this, you can't connect this one to the TV or whatever.
Exactly. I think there's more to it because otherwise, why wouldn't you look at the Switch Lite and go like, that's just it. It has like so much more value as a $199 item. When if you're looking at that going, it's $100 less than the Switch Lite. Like, why isn't it selling more? I just think that the Switch itself is the package. It's the thing that people talk about. It's what's promoted the most. It's all of those things. I don't know that the comparison from one model to the next is as important maybe as people might think.
Well, if they had added the OLED to the Switch Lite.
Exactly. And they could have done, a $250 Switch Lite OLED model would be perfect. That would actually be I would buy that on day one. That's exactly what I want.
Do you think the screen costs that much?
I don't think anything costs as much. Like I don't think that's ever a thing. People often do that where we talked about that with the PlayStation where they've got a diskless version and another one. It's like, well, how much does the disc drive cost? And it doesn't correlate directly to the end cost, not even remotely. And
I just wonder, would it
that.
ever be feasible for the OLED to be at the $200 price point in the Switch Lite?
I think what it does is sort of just replace the current, the old configuration. Like what Nintendo has been able to do is sell that thing at the exact same price since they launched it. And, instead of it probably costs more. How do I put this? It probably costs what the 2017 configuration cost to sell or to put together, right? And then which is why it's surprising that it's more money. Like they're really playing their position here on being a leader in the market because I think they're going to be making even more money off of this thing. So I guess the short answer to your question is no, it doesn't cost that much in relation to what they had originally launched in 2017. There's no way.
Well, I guess I was just trying to remember how much I paid for my Vita. Mm-hmm. Because didn't the Vita have the OLED?
OLED screen, yeah, smaller for sure. But yeah, that was, and how many years ago was that? 12 years ago or something was the Vita?
A long time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the answer to your question, Todd, is we don't know.
What exactly was the question again? Was it a miss that they're pricing it at $350 if this is going to be less than that? I don't think so. I think, and only in the realm of Nintendo, which Todd doesn't necessarily play around in all that often, I don't think, and gets a little bit frustrated with this stuff, which I don't blame him. Like, Nintendo's playing a positional play. It's new and shiny, and people who are ready for new and shiny will pay whatever that price is. And they are, what I would say is they're clearly not looking over to an Xbox or PlayStation, which are marginally more expensive than the OLED model at $350, because those don't play Animal Crossing or Mario Kart or WarioWare or any of these games. People want the Nintendo experience, so they don't look elsewhere for a comparative price because they don't have comparative games or experiences. Like, it's not even close.
Right. And to answer the second part, was the screen quality anyone's main complaint? No.
Not mine. No, that's why I'm not buying it. That's why I want it on my Switch Lite.
But
it doesn't make my
be
TV
pretty.
better. Well, I am looking forward to, you and Donnie and anybody else who's getting this thing and going like, this thing really is amazing. I can't wait to hear about that.
Is Ryan Turford getting one?
I think so.
Think he is.
Yeah, I think so too.
And he's
So
gonna
yeah,
play
I'm the only
Metroid
one.
Dread on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm the only one. It might even save Metroid Dread too. It might make all the difference in the world. So
Yeah. Okay, well, we do have a new segment this week on the show.
This is
We
fun.
referenced it last week, and it's called the Rearview Mirror. We're gonna
What do you
look
think about
at
that? I just kinda,
last year
drafted
in
that up.
Nintendo news. I love it.
Yeah.
I love all the car puns. And
Yeah.
I forget to read them out sometimes. So just so you know, to anyone listening, there are car puns for literally everything that we talk about. And if you want to see what they are, they're down below in the show notes. And
Breaking news is the best
breaking
one because
news
you
is
have
the
to
best
know
one. Yeah.
how it's spelled. It sounds like breaking news, like the news, but
Right.
it's like the break, like a brake, like on a car.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Sean is just so punny,
Oh my gosh.
So punny.
Yep.
All right,
Dad
so
life.
last year, there's a news story for Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game, complete edition announced for Switch. I was curious to see what you thought about this. Are you gonna, I know this is a year old,
Yeah.
but are you gonna play it now that you're all Scott Pilgrim, fanboy over there with your
Can I tell you
comics and
something?
everything?
I not only am I going to I'm going to continue playing it. One of the other things I want to say, even just on the topic of this segment as well, is that it's going to be interesting to watch. This game was announced to release that holiday season, which I think it did. But it'll be interesting to go like, did this actually happen? Like things that were
Right.
announced, like how did that all play out? That game is great. I've played it on Xbox. People should definitely play it. And I am becoming obsessed with Scott Pilgrim and the comics and all those things, and pay attention to patreon.com/Yumi Capri for some cool stuff happening there. But I will now hit play to just kind of on my phone on what I'm currently listening to. It is the theme song for this game.
Oh
I have this soundtrack for this game on my phone. I am constantly listening to it. It has my whole heart. I just love it. So just sort of amazing that as we're kind of looking backwards in time in this new segment on the show, that Scott Pilgrim was announced, and I have come on such a journey because that news last year was like, okay, like I don't even know what that game is.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, like sure, other people are excited, cool. It was popular with some people, and then they couldn't play it, and now they're re-releasing it, and it was a big deal. And now I'm like, it is what's on my phone. I run to this music. I like wake up to it. It's part of my life. So yeah. Just a year later. Mm-hmm.
Just a year later. Well, the other news story that happened today last year, we got a first look at the main menu in Super Mario 3D All-Stars. And man, there were some high hopes for this game. Or combination or collection of games, as you will.
Yeah.
And I remember this because I remember how hyped Bobby was for it.
Yeah.
And the menu is really cool.
Yeah.
Honestly. I like the way the menu looks. You get the release year, a little description of the game. It's cute. I was super excited about this game because I had never played Mario Sunshine or Galaxy. And I was so ready. And then, I own it. But then
Same.
everyone pooped all over it.
Aw.
So I was
Nobody
just
wants
like-
to play with poop.
I was just like, I don't want to play this now. Everyone was like, don't bother.
Does that like that's a real thing? Like that's I guess that's exactly what you're saying. But like you own it, you could play it, but there's so much like negativity surrounded that it impacts like your excitement over it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I started to play the 64, Mario 64.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I mean, this is fine. It's Mario. Mm-hmm. But I was excited about the other ones. And then, everyone just kind of ruined it.
Life on the internet.
It's that big of a deal. But, and the thing is that I felt obligated to buy it no matter what, because there was this limited time frame that you had to buy it. And
they played us.
So I was stressed out about that. Mm-hmm. Did that actually all happen? Like it's no longer available?
Well, I think they're trying to, but somehow, I don't know. It seems like there's still copies that kind of like linger. Maybe at this exact moment, maybe not, but definitely well beyond that point in time. Even to the point where I'm trying to remember if we lost this game and maybe I had to buy it again, which seems to be a problem with me. I don't remember if that is the case.
What a weird marketing strategy. I mean, obviously it worked. That's one of the reasons I bought it. I'd be curious to know who else bought it for that reason.
Everybody bought it for that reason. Number one, it had the double whammy. It's Mario as well as limited run on it. Like that's just... it is so to rude. Me. It's such a blemish. It is such a blemish. I've said it even back in that day, and I don't mean to yuck your yum on this as well. Like maybe you should just try it, but like, it's All-Stars. Like maybe people should go back and play like the other All-Stars game to kind of understand and remind themselves why I'm so down on this one is because the original All-Stars was like the definitive remaster. It actually was like the birth of all remasters, and it set the bar so high for how you bring old games to a new generation with updated art style and things like that. Like it's so good. It's Mario like 1, 2, and 3, and then they also had what was actually Mario 2 in Japan. We called it the Lost Worlds because it was too hard for Americans apparently to play. And it's excellent. Like the music is really good. It's 16-bit graphics updated from the 8-bit graphics. It's really excellent. And so this is not that. It also felt incomplete that it didn't have Galaxy 2, which as we've been playing a little bit of Galaxy 2 these days, I think it faces more than we might remember. It faces a similar challenge that Skyward Sword did with so much motion controls and how heavily influencing that in the game design and level design and experience, all of that plays out. So that could be a reason why, but still it just didn't feel as ground up. Like the original one, there's no like reused assets. It's not like they just upscaled a ROM or something like that. They really just put a lot of love, care, and attention to it to the point where for a lot of people that was their definitive like Mario 1, 2, and 3 kind of experience. And even to that point, we'd often talk about how what's the next kind of look of Mario? What's the next art style going to be for a 2D Mario? We've been with the quote new Super Mario Brothers kind of art style for so long. I would not be mad if they just kind of went back to the Mario All-Stars look for 1, 2, or 3. They're all unique, all different, but very, very good.
Yeah. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, so good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, we do have some questions this week. So let's jump into the carpool. V over on YouTube has a question for us. Do you know or can you explain why games so often get delayed on the Switch? Well, right now, I think a lot of it has to do with the pandemic. I think that delayed things for a long time. I mean, there are things outside of games that are still struggling to get produced. I think everything is going to slowly start getting even more back to normal, especially I assume game developers and things like that have made the proper adjustments to maybe work from home life and are able to do things like that now. Maybe they have to change. I know Metroid got delayed because they wanted to completely change it.
Oh yeah, the Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
I think part of it too, and Doki, one of the stories we didn't really cover, but it kind of ties into the question, is Doki Doki Literature Club, the physical edition, got delayed for Switch. And so there's a lot of examples of this where, games just in general being delayed, but then specifically on Switch, where we're actually seeing the Switch versions of games getting delayed, where they're kind of getting released elsewhere. I think Life is Strange might be another example of this. And it's actually because what I've learned is that the development of the games for Switch are actually being done by a different company. They're not being like created in parallel or alongside maybe the main version for Xbox or PlayStation or PC. They're kind of being ported. And so that inherently will cause some issues, and which I think are exacerbated by what you're talking about, Caito, which doesn't make life any easier. So yeah, you have a bit of a porting situation happening, which means translating a game that is meant for one console or platform to something else. And we often forget just how different the Switch is. They've blurred the line so well with games like The Witcher and Doom and all these other games that we never imagined would run on Switch. It's a tablet. So I think that is at the heart of the issue. It's just that really, really different piece of hardware. But Nintendo did such a great job with it to make it at least transferable and portable from other platforms. This is the best they've ever done with that, which is why you have all these third parties making games for it. And that's a huge difference from how difficult it was to port games to like the Wii U, for example. So yeah, it's mainly that the games aren't being done by the same company when it's the Switch version, and then different console, different company, pandemic. I think that probably captures it.
Interesting. So is it more challenging to have it on a cartridge style?
Yeah, that's
game
part of it,
as opposed to disc.
Yeah, you're limited by. You have to make choices anyways. You might not be limited in all cases, but some games are gigantic. Some games just won't happen because they make a choice of, if the game is going to be, 50 or 60 gigabytes, you'll have to put that on a very special cartridge, which means it's an investment. You have to buy like a different cartridge. It's like buying different memory cards at Best Buy. So they have to put that on a more expensive cart, where they don't have to make that same decision on Xbox or PlayStation. The Blu-ray discs have a gigantic capacity, and they don't have to make those choices, or they just sell it digitally. So yeah, all those things kind of that's one of the considerations when you're making a game on Switch alongside other things is, what cart does this go on? Like those are decisions that will always slow things down. It's always going to be part of the reason that maybe some games don't make it onto Switch.
Interesting. All right, we got one more question from Delroy at JDelroyC on Twitter. Hey, you two, what is one or two game or series that was never released in your region that you'd most want to see officially make its way over? For me, it's either Terranigma or Live a Live. I've never heard of either of those.
Neither have I.
I don't know any game that's been released anywhere that I'm just so like tunnel vision on what is here that I don't even know what I'm missing out on. And maybe that's for the best. Is
the default answer like Mother 3? Is that the answer?
I don't even know what that is.
It's like the Earthbound. It's from the Earthbound series, like Earthbound kind of world. Yeah. I think that's probably it, because I would say mostly I'm in your camp as well. But I wanted to include it because I'd like to invite other people to jump in on the comments and the YouTube video or anywhere else too. What games are we missing out on? What games should I even know about? I don't even know. But I do remember growing up, just like Japan seemed like this magical land somewhere else in the world that seemed to get different things. I imagine that there's a lot of like RPGs that a lot of people kind of talk about.
I was about to say, I feel like Ryan is just screaming right now, editing this. He's just like,
this? He should just insert himself like right here. Yes. Like Ryan can be like the temporary third co-host of the Nintendo Drive right here if he likes.
What's up, everybody? Producer Ryan here, aka Ryan Turford, the man on the moose from the Xbox Drive, the PlayStation Drive, and the RPG Cave. All of our podcasts, of course, are on all the podcast networks or right here on YouTube at youtube.com/YumiCapri. Shameless plug over. So, of course, I'm here to answer Delroy's question. So, Delroy's question, of course, as you just heard, is about what game or series that hasn't come to our region of choice that we currently live in do we want to actually come over? So, Delroy, obviously, I saw your first two picks here, which was Terranigma and Live Alive, however you want to say it. Either way, Both are pretty good picks. As for me, I had to think about this one a little bit because I know for first-party choices, I don't really have that many, and I'll get into mine in just a second. But I know a lot more third-party stuff is kind of the stuff that came to Japan but never really came here that, is probably the most desirable things out of this whole, deal. My go-to answer for the longest time for this question would actually be Seiken Densetsu 3, aka Trials of Mana, which actually did finally get a North American re-release last year. So I actually had to come up with a different answer this time around. But luckily, this week, coming up over the weekend, again, another shameless plug here, the RPG Cave is coming up with an episode of Fire Emblem, which we actually just recorded on Sunday. And we talked a lot about Fire Emblem and how a lot of that series hasn't actually come to North America in any meaningful way, because we did get the two Famicom, the two NES Fire Emblem games with the Shadow Dragon, which was the first game, which came to Nintendo Switch Online last year, that very quickly got removed from the service, so you can't actually buy it anymore. But that was the first time we had gotten that game in North America besides the Nintendo DS remake called Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon, and then which we had Fire Emblem Gaiden, which then came to North America in the form of Fire Emblem Echoes. But I would say that what we really need from Fire Emblem that we were sorely missing at this point are all the Super Famicom, aka the Super Nintendo Fire Emblem games, because we don't have any of them, and they're all really, really, really good because I've played them with fan translations, but I would love to play a English translation that's fully done by Nintendo of something like Genealogy of the Holy War or Mystery of the Emblem, or really just any of the Fire Emblem releases on Super Nintendo would be amazing. So I think that would be one thing that I would love to personally see come to Nintendo Switch, or even just get a North American release of some kind. So that was definitely the main one that came to mind. And the other one, again, still in the RPG realm, because as Caito correctly predicted, yes, I would be mostly talking about RPGs when kind of breaking in here. But the other one is actually Tales of Innocence, which is on the Nintendo DS, which of course, very timely because we just had a new Tales game, Tales of Arise, come out this week. But Tales of Innocence is one of the few mainline Tales games that got stuck in Japan. There's a couple others, but most of them are on PlayStation, so I'm not going to talk about them here. But Tales of Innocence was a really cool mainline Tales game on the Nintendo DS. It eventually got a remastered version on the PlayStation Vita, which also never came out here in North America. And it was like this cool, steampunky take on Tales. So it's a game that I've always wanted to play. I know there is a fan translation out there, but I've just never gone ahead and played that because it is kind of awkward probably to play, Nintendo DS games on your computer, which again is a road I've never really gone down before. So that's another one that really stuck out in my mind when hearing your question, Del Rey. So those are my two picks. Again, any of the Super Famicom Fire Emblem games or Tales of Innocence on the Nintendo DS. Those are two games I would love to see be brought back to North America. Of course, before we go back to Sean and Caito, I wanted to say, of course, yes, I'm getting a Switch OLED, Caito, as you correctly surmised on the show. And yes, I'm going to be playing it day one with Metroid Dread. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait for that because I'm a huge Metroid fan, as everyone knows, and I can't wait to play that game. So back to Sean and Caito with the rest of the drive.
All right, we need to wrap it up. So,
that's the
Sean,
end.
where can everyone find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Sean Capri. It's Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. And I'm really enjoying getting back into streaming over at twitch.tv/Sean Capri. And yeah, I would love to have people, leave the comment on the YouTube video for this. It's been so much fun. Even if you're just helping out the algorithm, all hail the rhythm, youtube.com/Yumi Capri.
And you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at Console Caito. That is all for episode 21 of the Nintendo Drive. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, there is still no Nintendo Direct, so buckle in for the long haul, because there won't be one for a while.
The Nintendo Drive is fueled by patrons at patreon.com/Yumi Capri. And from the bottom of my heart, I am so grateful to the nearly 70 patrons who support us each and every month, with our special thanks to our Capremium producers, Dallas Ford, Lee Navarro, the fearless leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team, and Jonathan Brown, the man behind the music on this show and the Xbox Drive. You can support Jonathan at youtube.com/PM Entertainment. Our platinum producers, Robbie Bobby Miller and Trucker Sloth. Our gold members, Argo, Benji Kong, Brendan Myers, Dallas Robbins, Dano, Emily O'Kelly, Foolish Fuji, Heather Boney, James Johnson, Joel Brooks, Jose Jimenez, Mac Time, Marcus O'Neill, Mr. and Mrs. Nasty Boots, RJ Kern, Skinny Matt, and Xavier Reyes. If you enjoyed this show and you'd like to support independent content, you can go to patreon.com/Yumi Capri and choose the tier that's right for you.